Neal Moore describes himself as an internationalist and river journalist as he attempts to take 22 rivers in 22 states to carve a new path across America, but arrived at Nebraska City Tuesday with the idea that the rivers are carving him. Moore was born in Los Angeles and lived the majority of his life in Africa and East Asia. He said he is drawn by the idea of seeing his home country up close and personal from an open canoe. The CNN contributor launched at the mouth of the Columbia River and came upstream to the top of the Continental Divide at McDonald Pass in Montana. His journey includes pulling his canoe on wheels to connect the 22 rivers. He first put his canoe into the Missouri at Helena, Montana.
This is my second go-around. I tried this 2 years ago, and I made it about 1,800 miles to Lake Sakakawea. And so I had confidence that I could make my way up the rivers, over the divide, and then this time around actually go the distance.
The long-distance paddler had earlier went down the Mississippi River and compared each river odyssey to a new chapter in his life story.
Every river acts different. And so the Columbia, for example, you start out with the Columbia River Bar, which is the most dangerous waterway in the entire world. Luckily, I had really good weather this time around coming across. Then coming up the Snake, it's remote and it's rugged. And in the age of COVID, there were in 9 days of paddling the Snake, not one boat, not one fisherman on that river. I didn't see anybody for my first 5 days.
He described the Clark Fork River in Idaho as a rock bed river. After setting up camp, the dam went from very little water released to 30,000 cubic feet per second overnight.
And it washed out my canoe and most of my gear. I woke up and I was lucky not to have been washed out.
He said there are also dangers in the upstream Missouri River because of reservoirs, wind, and isolation. But the experience is unique.
These rivers were the first thoroughfares in North America. The first roads built in America were built along the side of these rivers. The first communities, the first settlements were on these rivers. There's so much history, and to travel by canoe, it's sort of a nod to the Native Americans who came before us as well.
Moore said he is grateful for river angels who show him hospitality in river towns where there is a sense of history and grit. From Nebraska City, I'm Dan Swanson, News Channel Nebraska.